everyone. Today in the news program we will discuss the issues of LGBT youth. That has now become one of the most controversial issues in the society. Um since there have been many cases of LGBT in the schools. And today's case, we are going to talk about the how a lesbian girl it cost his life and how the life is hard when you are a part of the LGBTs. Below is the testimony of Patricia Fuentes, who was the victim sister.
My sister was a lesbian, and I say was because she is now dead. She decided to end her life after the constant abuse suffered in school because of their sexual orientation. I still remember when I knew of his condition. She wrote me a letter when where she told me how she felt. During her life, she always knew that there was something different in it. She always wanted to be closer to her friends and not boys. When she was 14 years old, one of her friends said bisexual, and when my sister asked him what it was exactly a description of what she had felt throughout his life. Many times she never told me the name of a guy who liked it or that had on their walls photos of famous band singers. When she went out with a guy, she lost interest quickly. I never thought that by these things she was lesbian. I take a time to understand her situation, but always was going to support her because it was my little sister, my sister of 16 years old. When we talk about with my parents, it was difficult at first, but like me, they understood it and supported. We thought that the school was a safe place, but his own classmates made her bullying by their condition, and also the school discriminated. Many times, many times it was the professors themselves who insulted her, and her classmates constantly beat her. I don't know how we never realized that. We accept guilt as a family, but we don't know how in a place where a child is supposed to feel safe, she did not. In many cases, discrimination is not question of malice but of ignorance. People fear that people fear the unknown and sometimes mistakenly rather than seeking to understand something, simply rejects it without thinking about the impact that it can have this act. We live in an age where information is that we can go to one society more aware, more fair and inclusive. The LGBT community, as well as many of vulnerable communities, is fighting for recognition and respect of their rights. Respect, something that my sister never received by those who were his second family, the school. We believe as a family that society, government, and schools should work together to eliminate stereotypes and intolerance, which greatly limit social development and provide equal opportunities for all of us who share the same space.
Well, I'm shocked. This is shocking, and us of the girl of 16 years old make the decision to commit suicide because of these problems that exist in the society. This is the reason why Alan Flores, the psychologist, we will talk about the reasons that these people resort this type of solution and the consequence and how we can solve it.
Thanks for the introduction. Hello, my name is Alan Flores and I work as a school psychologist. There have been many cases where I have to talk to students who are around 13 to 15 years old, and also they are part of the LGBT youth. Also, this can be young people who feel identified with another gender. Although it's important to emphasize that LGBT people can feel hurt, discriminated, abused, or harassed at any age. And in this case, children are the who suffer the most from this problem, and also who needs more help. Then think about your child, who can sometimes have problems in their life as students. For example, a content that is hard for them to learn, some problems with their classmates, or even with your parents. Now, imagine how life can be for someone who is part of the LGBT youth. How was to face the same problems, but obviously considering that the difficulty to face them increased a lot. Many times the children's behavior is judged by how they are treat LGBT people. But we must question and think, why do they have this behavior? Most of the time of this responsibility of the parents and how they have educated their children with a little tolerance and respect for others. And it is important to emphasize that the sexual orientation of the young people is a very delicate topic, since it greatly influences their life, because you will have to relate with others and they will be seen differently, when the truth is that they are only persons with different sexual orientations who try to seek happiness and peace, just like you and me. Of the case of discrimination to LGBT people can affect the learning process of children. I mean, that when the tribe are in classes, they do not want to participate because they may not feel comfortable with their classmates or teachers. The space in the where they try to do does not give them enough confidence to do this. This makes it more difficult for them to relate to their peers and can clarify build a quiet personality. It can also mean that these students change regularly of schools. There is even to the possibility that they do not want to go to the school anymore and look for other ways to learn. In the most extreme cases, they cannot be able to feel accepted or loved, something that can create many cases of anxiety and depression, making children lose their control and do self-harm, or even commit suicide. The solution to avoid this situation is to make people aware, especially parents who are the ones who have to educate their children, by teaching them tolerance and respect, and explain that we are different and that is fine, not just telling them do this or don't say that, but explain them why to do or not to do something. The measure that schools could take will be to create classes that address this topic in order to raise awareness among young people. Also talk about the situation in parents' meetings. It is important to keep in mind that 3% of students have a different sexual orientation according to the statistics given by schools. But it's believed that there is much more than only 3% of students who have this orientation and who are afraid to say who they are and who they feel and prefer to keep this to themselves. The important thing here is to report if there is any type of abuse by students, teachers or family, and try to provide support, and not wait for another suicide to happen to make an achievement.
So, and now To know this affect our society, we have a sociologist, Fabian Hill, who will tell us from the story of our victim that this is more common than expect.
Okay, first of all, thanks you for inviting me to the program. So, um, well, here we have a very interesting and at the same time a very subtly case. Uh, this case is of this girl of 16 years old that she commits suicide. Why? Because their classmates bully her and harass her. I know why they bully her and harass her uh, is because when she has 14 years old, she assumed that she's lesbian. And that that is, how can I say, the people responsible that students harass and bully her are us, as parents, as teachers, as directors of the school, etc. If now if we see some data, so in 1989, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Service of United States report that gay and lesbian youth are 2 to 3 times more likely to attempt suicide. Uh, and I say again that that is our fault because uh, we have to teach them that uh, we don't have to care about the sexual orientation, about the color of our skin, of the roots that we have. We are all people. Uh, Another point that we should touch is the violence and harass against LGBT students. 83% of LGBT youth report report that they suffer verbal harassment at school because they sexual orientation, and the 42% says that they have been physical harassed. Why? Why students, kids, they do that? Is our responsibility. How many uh, young people have to die that we can do something? We are the responsible people. We are the ones that have to make a change. We are the ones that have to uh, we are the ones who have to create empathy to that kids. I don't want that more students die, more young people die. LGBT, it's something that always exists, and Now is the moment to stop the harass to LGBT. This is the moment we have to create a critical thinking to our kids. Thanks.
Therefore, now, with all these clarifications of the subject, we can create awareness about the people who are part of the LGBTs. It is important to know how society acts in these situations. We must know each other and learn more to create a tolerance and respect for our peers. We cannot let situations like this girl of 16 years old keep happening more. It is time to we begin to worry and take action the murder. So every day we can face the people who may be in need of our help. So we could be surfing do this gender violence that has affected society. So if we continue with this ignorance, many young people will continue to die. We hope that all this you have liked and we have created awareness within our viewers and continue to see us here in the news program with more topics from day to day. Thank you.